There are some people who think that government is just a game. It's a political game, it's played by people, they play all sorts of clever games about keeping information to themselves, misleading others, etc. It isn't a game. It's a very serious business, and special advisors have potentially a very important role in that serious business, which is about challenge. Now, if you are employing people to inject challenge into a government machine with lots and lots of officials, of course there's potential for tension. So I always felt when I was the Permanent Secretary, the job was of the Permanent Secretary to ensure that there was challenge in this system, both from officials and from special advisors, but it was challenge that was constructive in ways in which people could still work together and have good relationships with each other.
I think for a special advisor in a leadership role at the centre, one of the key difficulties and tensions is to balance the time of the minister. There's always tension between government, endless bilaterals and sort of policy ministerial meetings, and then the pressures from the parliamentary party, both of them, party colleagues, policy working groups, party conference, and you have to sort of weigh all that up and keep them at bay and make sure everyone gets the time that they need and that the minister's doing the right things.
I think there's a perception that special advisors are pulled in two ways. There's a perception that special advisors are pulled in one way by their department and in another way by their minister. And sometimes their departments and ministers think alike, but sometimes, ministers trying to push the department in another direction. But the truth is, as a SPAD, you get pulled in three ways, because number 10 thinks you're their person in the department, your minister thinks you're their person, and your department thinks you're the department's person in the rest of Whitehall. And sometimes those three forces are aligned, but sometimes they're not. And it's quite an important role as a SPAD to decide which one you're going to help push.
Well, there could be tensions about access to information. So game playing on both sides about all of that. There could be tensions about special advisors purporting to know the views of the minister when in fact they don't really know the view of the minister, and what you're having served up is their view. And that's particularly, I think, an acute problem when you're dealing with number 10 Downing Street, full of special advisors, each of whom may or may not think that they know the Prime Minister's mind, serve it up as the Prime Minister's mind, but it might not be the Prime Minister's mind. Those sorts of things.
I think those tensions exist wherever you're a special advisor, and I think as a good special advisor tries to recognise the fact that it's healthy to feel a mixture of loyalties. On the one hand, you are there to look after the minister who's appointed you and who is accountable for your actions. They have to be the primary focus of your loyalty, but equally you've got to have a sense that you belong to a wider government and that it's your job to help that government succeed. And sometimes that might mean persuading your boss to do something that he or she doesn't want to do in the interests of the wider government. I think it's healthy for special advisors both at the centre of government and in the department to always try and see the other side within the government and what other special advisors are trying to achieve and other ministers, and try and ultimately work towards the common goal.
And also special advisors who understand from day one that, okay, they may be working for a minister in a department, let's say, or the Prime Minister, but actually they have a loyalty, as is laid down in the code, to the government as a whole. And that actually behaviour which involves being poisonous to the minister, to the media, about colleagues, about officials in particular, is unlikely to lead to a conducive and productive and harmonious relationship.
Other people will disagree, but I always trusted the civil service, always worked at all levels, and made connections from really junior people to the DG in our team, and used everybody as much as possible. And there were always lots of conversations behind closed doors with special advisors, but I would always tell our PPS what was going on. It just made things run more smoothly, and I think actually the dial, civil servants can go quite a long way before they have to stop and say this is political, and I think we were always a bit too overcautious of that. And so, yeah, first and foremost, never working like it was them and us, but actually accepting that the success of the minister and any particular policy was everybody's success.